Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakaran. Okay, so here's a look at some of the top stories that we're following right now. Second morning in a row now that we're talking about an officer-involved shooting in Brookhaven. So if you go to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, or download our free Atlanta News First app, you can see all the details on this latest officer-involved shooting in the community of Brookhaven, and that's what is being investigated right now. But here's what we know. DeKalb County Emergency Services say that they were called to Ashford Dunwoody Road, which was partially closed, and that they were called out there around 7 a.m. They say that at least one officer reportedly shot a suspect. That suspect is expected to recover, but officials also say that the suspect had rammed into at least one Dunwoody police patrol car in a stolen Dodge Challenger when they tried to pull him over. That's according to police. The incident started a chase that then ended in Brookhaven when the suspect wrecked his car and tried to run. This is according to investigators. Investigators also say that this suspect had a weapon and was ultimately shot by one or more officers, something that police felt was necessary. Police are saying that no officers were injured on their part. Again, the investigation is ongoing. But again, second morning in a row now that we are here talking about an officer-involved shooting in Brookhaven. We're going to keep following the latest and bring you any new developments as we learn more. Also want to let you know about this situation in Norcross, where a fire has left several people displaced. This was an apartment fire overnight there in Gwinnett County. Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Rescue is saying that fire crews responded to this fire just around, shortly before 3:30 in the morning, and it was at 122 Sparrows Lane in Norcross, which is the Elliott Norcross Apartments off of Graves Road, if you're familiar with the area. Upon arrival, crews say they saw heavy flames coming from the roof of an apartment building there. The flames, thankfully, they were able to get under control in a relatively short period of time by 4:45 in the morning. Remember, they had arrived shortly before 3:30. And then this is according to the Gwinnett County Fire Emergency Rescue. Gwinnett police say that 8 units were damaged as a result of this fire. And because of all this, at least 24 adults and 9 children have been displaced. That's like 33 people. No injuries have been reported at this time, thankfully. So that is a relief there. But the cause of that fire is still under investigation. And here's some of the remarks that we got from the public information officer on the scene. Let's listen.
Working with apartment maintenance to try to get counts on how many tenants there were, as well as seeing how we can get those displaced families shelter for the remainder of the day.
Yeah, so the question is where they are going to be sheltered. The Red Cross typically helps with situations like that. But at this time, it is estimated that 33 people are displaced. That's 24 adults and 9 children. The cause of that fire is still under investigation as well. We're going to keep following the latest on that. Also, let's talk about WellStar, because it's been 1 year now since the WellStar Atlanta Medical Center has closed its doors for good. And that's left North Georgia with just one level 1 trauma center, raising a lot of concerns about safety and the ability to respond to emergencies. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm tells us what's happening on that site now 1 year later.
Some community members and activists are calling today a sad occasion. They're planning to come out here this evening and place 460 markers in the ground to signify the number of beds lost. Let's show you, because 1 year since the closure of Atlanta Medical Center, the old emergency entrance remains fenced off, and the same signs they put out a year ago are still here, reminding people that this facility is closed. City leaders were hoping another hospital group would buy this property property, but that hasn't happened, although they say conversations are ongoing. If a private healthcare system doesn't move in, taxpayers would be on the hook to fund any new hospital group opening here. WellStar closed this entire 25-acre site a year ago today. This hospital had been a mainstay in the Atlanta community for a century. So when it closed and all those doctors got new jobs elsewhere, people who live here in the old Fourth Ward neighborhood, like Felicia McCoy, started having to travel further for medical care.
A lot of people depended on, coming here. It was walking distance, and, it was faster for the trauma over this area. Now everybody converted to Grady. Now Grady overcrowded, so now you spend more time seeing it Grady.
In the year since WellStar Atlanta Medical Center closed, the nearby Grady Memorial Hospital, which is now the only level 1 trauma center in Metro Atlanta, has seen a 35 to 40% increase in the number of trauma patients it receives. Grady is adding 182 new beds thanks to an investment from the state. In Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Rebecca for that report. Okay, also want to get back on your radar the latest with the YSL trial, the trial involving the so-called Young Slime Life alleged gang. And happening today in court, a few things. Well, first of all, this is very notable. It's such a talking point, a flashpoint, I guess I should say, in this case, is that the judge will hear more motions regarding the use of rap lyrics as evidence in this case. Of course, that's one of the issues that's made this so, really captured the fascination of the nation, really. But Atlanta rapper Young Thug and 8 other rappers total accused now of being part of the YSL gang, facing a total of 65 federal racketeering charges. At this point, there have been nearly 50 jurors selected in the trial. And so what's happening at this point, according to sources, is juror strikes, which is where essentially each side, the defense attorneys and the prosecutors, can eliminate potential jurors. Typically like a bench of jurors is 12 peers. And so what has been happening, as we know, this is a historically long jury selection that has been underway since the start of this year. Now here we are on the first day of November, and there has been a pool of jurors that has been selected, some 50 jurors now. And so what's happening is out of the pool of qualified jurors who are available now that have been preliminarily selected, the attorneys for each side are then doing their strikes, where they basically will go in and eliminate different jurors for cause, and they have to present arguments as to why they believe these prospective jurors should not ultimately hear the case until they get down to about 12. That would be the goal. Well, of course, there would be some alternate jurors, and that can vary from court to court. But so there, I should really say probably 15 then, if there would be several alternates allowed. But this is the point where you'll hear from attorneys from both sides making arguments to the effect of, this juror is not appropriate to hear this case because they may be biased for XYZ reason. So that's something that we're going to keep following, but just want to bring that back onto the radar because a jury is reportedly going to be selected within the next few weeks here. But again, it's been a historically long jury selection underway, so we're just going to have to wait and see when the final jury is actually seated on this case, but something we're going to follow. Okay, also something else on the radar is the weather, because what a big drop in temperatures. Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi is here. I know it's impacted so many of us, my family and I, with all the rescue animals. We were just like running around trying to get blankets on all the horses and lock everybody up in the barn and all that stuff is just a lot.
Got to keep them nice and toasty. I saw your picture on Facebook, by the way, of your pig and the dogs all dressed up for Halloween.
Oh, yeah. That was before it got really cold, though.
Yes.
You could probably tell.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's an important note, Joy, that you have to take care of your pets if they are outdoors. You have to take care of your pipes as well. And you also, of course, have to think about your plants. So me personally, I am not a gardener, and I have a little mum in front of my house. And so I am trying my hardest to make sure it does not die. But will I be successful? stay tuned to find out, everybody, because this cold is definitely going to get after it. So we'll see how well it lasts after this cold snap. So what you're looking at right now is essentially the last time we saw the 30s was late March. So March 21st, we were at 36 degrees, and we had a couple of other 36s and 31s, and even a 28 on March 20th. But the last time we were in the 30s was actually late March. April, we stayed in the 40s. The coldest we got in April for the morning was 44 degrees. So coldest air since March. That is, what, 7 months? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October? Yeah, over 7 months since we've been in the 30s. This morning, Atlanta bottomed out at 34 degrees. Hence, I'm still wearing my coat. It is cold outside, and I feel like that cold has just kind of transitioned into our studio. So definitely a day that you need your coat, maybe a hat. I know when I was just walking from the building, my car into the building, and the wind was blowing, my poor little ears were so cold. My nose has been red all day. I keep having to put makeup back on it. So anyway, that's always the telltale sign that you know I'm cold. Either my lips are purple or my nose is bright red. So anyway, it is cold out there. It's going to stay cold today and even into tomorrow. We do have a first alert for tomorrow as well. And then we'll start to warm up as we head into the weekend. So let's talk about what is going on with the weather today. So again, today will be cold. It's going to feel more like a winter afternoon in the 50s. And because of the wind, again, it's been gusting this morning so far, 20 to 25 miles per hour. It'll gradually die down through the afternoon. Our wind, thanks to our cold front. So cold fronts create a pressure change. Pressure changes create wind. So because of the timing of that front, we've been very breezy this morning. But again, that wind will start to die down. So as we head towards 4 o'clock, which is the heat of the day, one will have a lot of sunshine, so that'll help with the wind chill. That'll kind of help cut the cold a little bit to have all that warm sunshine. But also the wind will die down. So by 4 o'clock when we hit our high temperature, we'll be in the low 50s and low to mid 50s, and it'll feel like the low 50s. So not that bad. But notice throughout the morning this morning, we've been feeling like the 20s, still feeling below freezing out there. A lot of us have now made it above freezing at the surface, but the feels like temperature, which is what you're looking at here on those bars, that's going to stay in the 30s through about lunchtime. So definitely a day to bundle up, but our temperature at the surface will be in the mid 50s. So here's a look at the wind gust values. Again, going to be the gustiest through the early afternoon. And then as we head into the evenings, you're picking up the kids from school, maybe your kids have after school activities, or you're headed home from work, the wind will start to die down, but it'll still be breezy, just not quite as blustery as this morning has been. In fact, we recorded a wind gust, I believe, of 35 miles per hour with a sustained wind of 25 over at the airport. So that's pretty intense. I'm sure the higher elevations of the mountains were feeling that even higher. I'd be really curious to see a wind gust value up in Blairsville, because higher up you go, you have a little less friction to work with that allows the wind to kind of pick up a little bit more. The mountains kind of help aid in essentially increasing wind gust values just because of the topography of it. So I'd be very curious to see what it felt like up in Blairsville at the coldest point of the day. All right, let's talk about tonight's lows. We're not going to be done with the cold, so don't go putting those jackets away, the coats away, the gloves, the hat. You're going to need to give yourself some extra time to heat up the car tomorrow morning. The kids will need to be bundled up as they go to the bus stop. Temperatures will generally be in the mid to upper 20s to low 30s. So we do have another freeze warning in effect for tomorrow. That will go also until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it'll start at 2 a.m. and then go until 10 a.m. because it will, again, be freezing in some spots across the metro through about 10 o'clock. So needless to say, you got to bundle up. Tomorrow's highs will be warmer, generally in the 50s for tomorrow afternoon. So 59 for a high tomorrow in Atlanta. A lot of us topping out in the mid-50s. And notice our warming trend will continue into the weekend. So the weekend is going to be stunning. We'll have chilly mornings, 40s as you head out the door Saturday morning and wake up. Sunday will be in the 50s in the morning. But overall, a really comfortable week ahead. Low 70s will continue into the start of next week. So we'll go from being well below average to several degrees above average. It'll feel a lot more like fall as we head into the weekend. So just got to get there, got to get to the weekend, and we'll be good to go. We'll be in really good shape. So get outside this weekend. It is going to be just stunning out there. It's a weekend to get outside for sure. So rainfall-wise, we were hopeful that we would get some rain on Monday and Tuesday along another cold front, but yet again, our hopes have been squashed a little bit because it looks like this front's going to be fairly moisture-starved yet again, and our rain coverage is only about 20% on Tuesday. And we could potentially, emphasis on potentially, because this has been kind of a letdown for the past several weeks. We'll look ahead far out and we'll say, oh man, a cold front's going to come bring us a really decent shot for rain, and then it diminishes. So right now, Tuesday's our next best chance for rain, and that's still slim at best. but it looks like we're going to have another weather system roll through in the second half of the week, maybe the Thursday, Friday time frame. That could bring us a better coverage of rain. So we're just going to cross our fingers on that because take a look at this. We could use the rain. So far this year, we've picked up 35.35 inches of rain. That is putting us in over a 6.5-inch deficit for the year. So you've probably noticed our leaves changed, and they were decent. They weren't, super dull, but not as bright as they have been in years past. But have you noticed after this last cold front, most of those leaves are on the ground now? Yeah. Didn't really have a lot of water and life to sustain those leaves once the wind came blowing on through along our cold front. So unfortunately, our fall color a little short-lived, which is disappointing because I have a friend coming to visit from South Florida, and she doesn't get to see the leaves change. And I was really hopeful they'd be around for her, but, maybe next time. All right, so here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, we have that first alert today that actually we dropped that at 10 a.m., so we're going to take that off the 7-day because that first alert was for the freeze warning in effect till 10. So that's now put to the side. Low 50s today, upper 50s tomorrow, another morning freeze tomorrow. We do have, again, that freeze warning that'll go from 2 to 10 a.m. for the metro, really all of North Georgia, I should say. And then Friday, we'll warm back up into the mid-60s. The weekend looks spectacular. We'll have cool mornings, really mild and comfortable afternoons, lots of sunshine. It'll be great. And then you will have to turn the clocks back again. You'll get an extra hour of sleep. We love that this weekend because the clocks do go back. Daylight saving time ends. And then Monday will stay dry. Clouds will build ahead of potentially another cold front that'll come through, maybe bring us a few showers. Again, that chance not super promising. We'll stay in the low 70s after a very winter-like feel for this midweek with 50s and 30s in the morning. So definitely been a little on the chilly side or cold. This is beyond chilly. This is cold. All right, everyone. So don't forget the jackets the next couple mornings, the coats, maybe the hats for the kids who have to stand at the bus stop. Thankfully, that wind will die down tomorrow, so that won't be quite as much a factor as it was this morning. But still, by anyone's standards here in North Georgia, we got 30s and 20s on the way tomorrow morning, so that's cold. Be sure you prepare for it. That's what that first alert is for, to kind of give you a heads up that you're going to need to prepare for your day a little bit differently with the really freezing temperatures or very cold temperatures on the way for most of the metro. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I hope you make it a wonderful day, and we'll catch you here next time.